That's a really polite way of saying, Paul, you're talking way too loud.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Paul. I'm a nutritionist and health coach manager here at Second Nature.
Hey, I'm Robbie. I'm a registered nutritionist and researcher at Second Nature. Paul, mate, thanks so much for joining. Really appreciate it. Could you just start with giving a bit of background about yourself, your role at Second Nature, what you do, and maybe a little bit about your background too before you came to Second Nature? That'd be great.
Hi. My name's Paul. I'm a professionally registered health coach here at Second Nature. I guess a bit about me. I've been obsessed with helping people really ever since leaving uni. My background's a bit different actually. My university degrees were in sports and exercise science, my undergrad and then my postgrad as well. And at that time, I was actually working in professional football as a sports scientist and strength and conditioning coach. Really fun, really cool vibe. You know, you can imagine the culture, the togetherness. But I don't know. You know, when you think about purpose, it wasn't really me in a way. I wanted to help people, and yeah, as much as it was really performance driven, I was lacking a bit of satisfaction. So COVID hit, and you know, even before that, I was always interested in nutrition, behaviour change particularly. And then when COVID hit, just to keep my mind occupied, really, I just dived deep within research of nutrition, behaviour change specifically, and I guess more health coaching and coaching as a modality in terms of behaviour change, helping people. Then set up my own kind of online health coaching thing, as you do during COVID. Helped a few clients lose weight, feel better about themselves, and then from there moved into the NHS as a health and wellbeing coach. Worked within a couple of community interest companies there, and then got offered a job to run my own health and wellbeing service in Wakefield. So scaled that up from scratch, basically, where we was employing a new role within the NHS, health and wellbeing coaches, and all around like sustainability, long-term condition management, and that's led me here basically to the wonderful place that is Second Nature.
Amazing. So you've similar background to me. I also did sports science, and then I think, like you said, it's like there's something more inherently valuable to supporting people improve their health and almost longevity versus like helping someone improve their performance. It feels more purposeful, doesn't it? So I can appreciate that completely. And in terms of your role at Second Nature, you're nutritionist and health coach manager, but how do you support members in your role as well? I'd imagine you do still do some coaching and things like that. So could you run through that?
Yeah, the role is fantastic because it's really varied, and I think it ticks a lot of boxes for particularly myself because I like a bit of diversity in my role. So yeah, as part of my role, there is still some coaching that happens. So I do coach members on the different programs that we have, whether that's the National Diabetes Prevention Program, potentially local weight management programs, the vitality programs. Still some active coaching there. But also within my role, it's supporting the coaches develop their skill sets so that they can coach really effectively to the members that we have as well.
Amazing. And obviously there was something about Second Nature that attracted you as a professional. And what do you think it is that makes Second Nature's approach unique?
The mission. I think honestly the drive for it. It's very rare where you get a company and like a culture that is so aligned with kind of what everyone wants to achieve, and I think that really shone through. I remember my first interview with Rosie, head of health coaching, and you could feel it straight away, kind of that purpose, that drive to this is actually what we really need to do. Get me a part of the team. Amazing. That was kind of what it was. So for me, it's that connectedness with each other really to achieve, again, eradicating type 2 diabetes and obesity.
Makes sense. And you talked about like the mission there, and how do you think that presents for our members? So what is it about our approach to weight loss and health that resonates with them, do you think?
I think because we really understand it's not easy and it's a journey and there are challenges. And also, mainly, I think it's got to be sustainable. You know, weight loss is very difficult to do. What's even harder is to keep it off.
Yes.
And I don't know the stats or the data on it, but I'd like to think that the majority of members that come to us have probably tried to lose weight in the past and maybe regain some. So I think our approach really resonates with them because we take that into account and we're with them, we support them, we're in their corner. We understand that it's not about restriction, it's not about giving up the things that you love, but it's understanding actually what's actually happening and raising their awareness and sort of helping them support them with their own specific goals, I think, as well.
That makes sense. So it's more about accepting the longevity of the journey.
Yeah,
rather than offering quick fixes, basically.
Yeah, 100%. I always forget the actor's name as well. There was who's the guy who's known in My Name Is Earl? You know
the main guy.
You know he was known as Randy, the character.
Okay.
So, Ethan Suppley.
Right.
I heard this on a podcast as well. So Ethan Suppley's gone through like a fantastic weight loss journey.
Okay.
And it was one post, and I heard it on a podcast, and it really resonated with me because it kind of made me think around us guys in our work in terms of we're changing people's overall lifestyles and how they perceive it as well. And his caption was a picture in the gym, and it said, "I killed my clone today."
Oh, wow.
And I loved that because I was like, that's really clever. Like he's not just doing the behaviour, he's changing the way that he thinks and he does, and his actions and all that kind of stuff.
It's a shift in identity.
Yeah,
he
absolutely.
sees himself differently now. Yeah, that makes sense. And what do you think is the most common misconception about weight loss?
The first thing that comes to mind is that it's easy, because I think everyone knows someone that has lost like a large amount of weight, or has worked with someone who's lost a large amount of weight, and you're over the moon for them. But then if you're in that position where you want to lose weight and you're struggling, it can really impact your self-confidence and self-worth. So maybe that it's easy, I think, for some. I know that a lot of people will understand it's not, but it's the first thing that comes to mind.
And like with the diet industry and like the headlines, like lose 7 pounds in 7 days and all this kind of thing, right? We're conditioned to believe it's easy and that's a quick fix is all you need, right? So yeah, I think that makes sense. So why do you think diets are destined to fail?
I think because they mainly focus on restriction. I think they're focusing on, is a food good or is a food bad? And the answer is food is neither good or bad. Food is food. Food is there. It should be enjoyed. We should be excited about it. And I think most diets focus on don't eat this, eat that instead, and you will be fine. But the reality is food is everywhere, and particularly, ultra-processed foods. And we've got to be aware of that in our environment. We shouldn't be fearing it. We should be adapting to, what we can sustain longer term for our longer term health.
Makes sense. And do you think, like with Second Nature's approach, you talked about restriction there, like good and bad food, like putting food on a pedestal, and taking things away essentially. Do you think one of the things that resonates with our members is the fact we say, no, it's about what you can add in? Yeah,
100%. It's kind of one of my values and approaches to coaching as well. More that like positive psychology and linking it like instead of what's going wrong, what's going right. And I think that's so important when it comes to sort of nutrition as well. Again, diets focus on restriction. However, you get so much more when you think, well, what else can I add in? Something I always like to think is when you're making a meal or when I'm supporting the members is you've built a meal, brilliant. What else can you add in? Like what other colours can you add in is a real simple way. If you can try and get 3 to 4, even 5 different colours on your plate, you know that you're going to get more nutritional value, more diversity, which is a really good way of thinking about change.
Absolutely, that makes sense. And in terms, you talked a lot about your background, and even before you got your training, you were doing research on behaviour change. And what is it? And obviously, in the context of behaviour change, we talk about it's that holistic approach to life, right? So, why is a holistic approach to weight loss really important?
I think you can't do one without the other, in my opinion. I think at the end of the day, you're talking about behaviour change, and it's not just nutrition, it's physical activity. It's how sleep can impact your hunger and satiety the next day, can impact your physical activity the next day. Stress, how stress can influence your eating patterns, your behaviours, your motivation. It's everything. I don't think you can separate them. So I think our approach to factor these in and help inform members of these different areas of like holistic well-being, I like to think of it as tools in a toolkit for them to pick what resonates with them the most. That we're not necessarily telling them you need to do these things. Hey, here's some really cool information. This is why it can work. What do you think? So yeah, I think that tools in a toolkit.
That makes sense. And what does sustainable weight loss look like to you?
Overcoming challenge, and you said it before, a shifting identity. I think that's probably what it would look like and sound like to me, where someone, it's no longer a struggle, or they're struggling less because they're enjoying it and they're feeling the difference. So yeah, I think a shift in identity and becoming that person that they really want to be.
Yeah, that makes sense. And I think struggle less is probably a good way of looking at it, right? Because life is
always going to be a struggle.
Life is hard,
life
right?
is not peachy.
Life is a challenge, but if you can at least, I guess what you're saying is like you're actually still finding meaning and purpose in that challenge rather than like trying to swim uphill, essentially.
100%.
That makes sense.
And enjoying the challenge as well.
Yeah.
Almost seeking it in a way to overcome it, because it's going to give them more and build on their self-efficacy as well.
That's it. And what can someone, from a practical sense, we talked a lot about ethos and behaviour change and things like that, but obviously in your experience of coaching, what can people expect in their first month from a week-to-week practical basis?
I think a lot of it is sort of setting expectations and boundaries, and that building that rapport with the coach. It's something which we know when you look at kind of behaviour change models and behaviour change research. One of the key variables there is your trust with the person facilitating that change. So the first month of any program is really built on building trust and building support with the members, and also easing them in, because there is a lot of content, there is a lot of amazing information, and it depends on that individual how much they know. And it can, for some, feel quite overwhelming. So the first month is a lot of the time as the coach supporting them understand the information, looking and seeking the information, what really resonates with them. And yeah, kind of building the foundations really, whether that's looking at nutrition, exercise, sleep, stress, and helping them define their own health goals.
Makes sense, because like we're talking about diets being destined to failure, focusing on restriction, and the first thing they do is like do this. It's like cut out this, right? Dramatic. But what you're saying, people join Second Nature, and it's actually just laying the land, right? It's like, what does your current lifestyle look like? What are your goals, your values? What identity do you want to shift towards? So it's almost like a bit of area of discovery before you even start making those like gradual changes. In a sense.
100%. And then, yeah, like you said, like that discovery of where they're at, where do they want to go, and then sort of introducing like our nutrition guidelines, focusing on that balanced plate model. And also, it's not just saying, oh, this is the food, these are the foods you need to eat now. It's going, actually, this is the model. How can you adapt the recipes that you currently enjoy to the balanced plate model? And I know that like you yourself and Rosie Rosie's done a fantastic video of that with I think it was a spaghetti bolognese.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
So simple. Like who doesn't love a spag bol? But you can still have that and enjoy it. You just need to change those macronutrients and increase that fiber and protein. And I think it's a lot less daunting for people when we support them in that first month.
Absolutely, and it's adaptable to different ethnicities, different cultures. Because I think one thing in nutrition is it can be a little bit condescending to say to people, there's all these headlines out, the Mediterranean diet is the healthiest diet. It's a bit offensive to people who don't live in the Mediterranean, right? Yeah. But the way we approach it is like, we have our foundations, they can be adapted to anyone. I think that's great. And final few questions. What is something you wish more people understood about health and weight loss?
Ooh, something that I wish more people understood. To almost trust themselves in a way, like align themselves with their own cues. Like a big thing that we focus on is obviously listening to your body, those hunger cues, your satiety. After a meal, can you kind of wait and see how you're feeling? That like, I always say to people that I coach is that your body and your health better than anyone. Yes. If you can lean into that a bit more. And again, going back to that tools in the toolkit, you've got more tools in the toolkit now. Lean into it, how you're feeling. They can kind of build more, again, confidence in themselves. So yeah, leaning into their hunger cues a bit more and linking it to what you've had to eat versus what you haven't had to eat the day before. How have you slept? Kind of trust themselves to connect the dots a bit better. Makes sense. And final question. You've been here since June, so 6 months in, right? Yeah, flown by. Yeah, and you talked a lot about at the beginning, it's a company you really appreciate and the culture's really great. But what's your favourite thing about working here? The people. The people and the mission. I think that's, for me, it stands out, shines through. And it's nice, and I think it's rare when you find a company where you can wake up and go to work and do your best work with a smile on your face, motivated. And I know I'm very green 6 months in, but yeah, I've said to loads of people I would see myself staying here for years to come because it's something so important to me, and I know it's something so important to everyone else. That makes sense. Thank you. Brilliant. Cheers, Paul. Thank you. Cheers. All right.